When we come back, opening day in baseball, Roy Firestone wants to talk about that, but he also wants to talk about the hiring of Steve Alford as UCLA's next coach. Does he have, Alford, a character problem? Do you know what happened to him at Iowa? He's going to talk about that when we come back.
Roy will tell us. A character.
Would you like me to dance with you?
Come on, dance.
You gotta be kidding.
Come on.
You gotta be kidding. Roy Firestone is here. There are 8 million things to talk about right now.
There are too many things to talk about.
But let's start with UCLA hiring.
Well, Steve Alford, listen, Dan Guerrero, the athletic director for UCLA, said this is the perfect fit to get this young coach. Let's be honest. He is not considered in the top 5 of the most elite coaches available. Would you agree with that?
Top 20.
Maybe top 20.
Okay.
Okay. He's a good coach. He did a nice job in New Mexico. They lost to Harvard.
Harvard.
It's a little ignominy there.
Only team ever to lose to Harvard in the NCAA tournament.
Never made it to the Final Four. Only made it to 1 Sweet 16. So compared to Ben Howland, who made it to 3 consecutive Final Fours, you'd have a hard time convincing people that he had a better postseason record. Would you agree?
That this is an upgrade.
That this is an upgrade. They're also spending what $6-7 million between buyouts and dumping Howland and hiring Alford in this deal. But there's a more disturbing issue here in terms of the so-called good fit. And I had forgotten this story, and maybe you remembered it too. Today, CBS Chicago's Dan Bernstein reminded us that on September 6, 2002, Steve Alford vehemently and loudly shielded a player who was accused of sexual assault at Iowa.
Right.
The player's name is Pierre Pierce. Now, he eventually plea bargained assault causing injury. That was the charge that he plea bargained to.
And Roy, correct me if I'm wrong, they tried to get the young woman involved through their prayer group, actually.
Athletes in Action.
To come into with their counselor, their prayer counselor, to tell her to back off a little.
Back off, you know, don't talk so much about it. Alford was very vocal, very vehement in defending this player, saying, quote, I totally believe he is innocent, and he knew otherwise. He knew there was something brewing. Then he goes from Iowa to New Mexico.
Pierce afterwards?
Paul Pierce, not Paul Pierce. Pierre Pierce was arrested again in 2005.
Same guy.
Pled guilty to burglary, sexual assault, did jail time, 4th-degree criminal mischief.
But they covered him up in school, though. Right?
Yes,
he was okay.
Yes.
Where have I heard that before?
At Iowa, there can be a suggestion. Now, I'm not going to make it specifically, but he went from Iowa, to a pretty big basketball program, Alford, to New Mexico.
Right.
So some might say they kind of ran him out of there because he did get into a shouting match after the state attorney, Patrick White, rebuked him over the phone. So it was not necessarily the best exit from Iowa to New Mexico. And some might say he may not be the perfect fit for UCLA. UCLA had to have known all of this, too.
Well, did they know all you
would have to think he was vetted, don't you think?
That in this age, this would
the
come
internet
up
and information.
He's not even that good.
This happened 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah, another thing about Alford, he was Mr. Basketball in Indiana. He played for Indiana. Everybody thought his life would be in Indiana.
Right.
He would eventually replace Bobby Knight as the coach. It never happened.
That never happened. And listen, he's been in many places. He may do a terrific job at UCLA. He may be the perfect coach.
He's got a lot of baggage, obviously.
That's baggage. And there's, $18 million committed to this player. This
Boy,
coach.
you've been around. If UCLA wins,
it's all forgotten.